What's up, all my fellow weebs and weebettes? It's Anime Alex back again with another Monster Hunter Rise build guide. Here is our video, and our weapon of the day is, you know it, you love it, or hate it, is the Longsword. And before you start thumbing down the video and start raging in the box or the chat like, oh, of course it's a longsword video, it was bound to happen. Yeah, well, you know what, I don't care. We're going over the longsword because it's one of the most popular weapons in this game and in the series, and I should basically be doing a video on it. It was the next one on the list, and after this, it should be either bow or heavy bowgun. I don't know yet, but I think it is leaning more towards bow. But anyways, let's start. Here is actually the most DPS oriented longsword build. This is what the speedrunners are using. This is what, if you want to use on your casual hunts, you should be using. This is going to grant you the most damage out of any longsword in the game. So let's get into this build. I actually made like a whole document on Google Docs about like the whole stat sheet. I have a stat spread on it. But anyways, here is the Cami longsword build. This is the Valstrax Cami longsword build. The reason why we call it that is because we are wearing 5-piece Valstrax. We use Chameleos longsword, which is the Phantom Mirage, and we have the Fatal Tempest Talisman, which is actually going to be a very rare talisman, which is the Quick Sheath level 2 with 2 slots. Now, if you don't have this Fatal Tempest Talisman, have no fear, because all you have to really do is just drop the level of Maximum Might. Just drop a extra level of Maximum Might and you should be A-okay. Anyways, moving on from that, your decorations that you will need to finish this build or to fully complete it will be 3 critical jewels, 3 grinder jewels, 2 sharp jewels, 2 steadfast jewels, and or satiated jewels. It's up to you. 1 handicraft jewel, 1 sheath jewel, and 1 mighty jewel. Now, this weapon right here, you will get white sharpness with 1 level of handicraft. You will have a base of 15% affinity. You will also have a defense bonus of 10, and you have a level 2 and 2 level 1 slots. We have this augmented or rampaged for attack boost 3 to take our attack to 228. And for those who don't know how Valstrax armor works, when you drop to 80% or below, you should get a 10% increase in damage, on top of getting resuscitate to activate, and you will automatically get more attack than what you would get from attack boost 7. And then for extra measure, if you do have a little bit of red health, you will get your resentment level 3 bonus, but we're not really going to be reliant on that a lot. Make sure you run this with a fighter cat to max out, or at least get your affinity up to 95%, because you will have up to 65% affinity with this build, and you would have up to 55% affinity if you don't have this build, if you don't have the mighty jewel, if you don't have this specific decoration, which is also good because you'll get up to 85% affinity. So just letting you guys know. Anyways, moving on to our next item on the list, which is going to be our anti-healer longsword. So this longsword, crap, I got caught on my earring, or my stud. This longsword build is going to be a bit of a weird explanation. The reason why I made this build is so when you are in a game with a healer, obviously you cannot use the max longsword DPS build. Thus, your DPS over the course of the hunt is going to be significantly less. And as the longsword player, your primary objective is to do a lot of damage to the monster to kill it. You don't have any KOs to stun the monster to help out your team. You don't provide any defensive options. You don't have a shield. You don't have anything to support the team, such as musical notes. It's just you, your sword, and your impeccable timing to do some huge damage to the monster. Now, for this build, we are not going to be using our fatal. We are not going to be using our rare talisman. Instead, we are going to be using a quick sheath level 2 talisman with a level 3 slot. Ours also has level 2 divine blessing, so we have some survivability on this one. But as long as you have a quick sheath level 2 with a level 3, you should make this work. Now, you need the Kaiser Crown, which is Teosha's helmet, Barioth mail, Valstrax's braces, Anjanath coil, and Hunter's greaves for this build. And you should be in for your decos, and also remember we're using Demon Petulance 3 on each and every one of our builds. And also for the decorations, you need 3 grinder jewels. You need 2 satiated jewels. I mean, the satiated jewels is up for your own opinion. 2 steadfast jewels, which is also up for your own choice to use. You can put any level 1 jewels. It's just I find using steadfast jewel 1s and steadfast jewel. I find running stun resistance jewels and free meal jewels essentially the best on this build. You need 2 critical jewels, 1 tenderizer, 2 sharp jewels, and 1 handicraft, and you will get attack boost level 4, crit eye level 3, crit boost level 3, wex level 3, and quick sheath level 3 with level 2 protective polish and speed sharpening, and level 1 handicraft. Also level 1 maximum might for basically the important skills. And to show you how much affinity we get 40% affinity. I honestly don't even know if this is with maximum might added on. I believe it is with maximum might added on. Actually, let me check. Yeah, it is with maximum might. So you get 90 affinity with this build. So, you know, high affinity longsword build, it's going to help out your DPS in hunts when you have a healer. That is why we use this build. Anyways, moving on to our next build, we're going to start getting into the elemental longsword builds. And now you might be wondering, Alex, why would I need a elemental longsword? Doesn't longsword do non-elemental damage? And to that, yes. I mean, longsword is better non-elementally, but unlike previous games, longsword in this game has, like, elemental longsword in this game has very, very select uses. Now, taking that little excerpt, or that little quote, with a grain of salt, most of the time you are going to be using the Cami longsword, the Cami Valstrax longsword. But when you do run into a monster that has high elemental weakness, such as Rathalos, you are going to be using the dragon longsword, which is this longsword. So we are going to be obviously using Valstrax longsword, which is one of my favorite longsword designs in the game series. Look at this beautiful katana. It comes with a 2-slot. It comes with a whopping 39 dragon, a lot of white sharpness, and 180 attack. And with our rampage slot, we got it for Wyvern exploit. Now you might be wondering, Alex, why didn't you upgrade it for Valstrax Soul so you can get even more of that beautiful, delicious dragon element damage? And the reason why is because, one, I tried to fit this on a longsword build with using full 5-piece Valstrax, and it didn't really go the way I wanted it to go. But not just that, the only people that are super, super weak to dragon element are the Wrath twins, Rathian and Rathalos. So their wyverns, Wyvern exploit will help out a lot on the raw side of things. And so you basically you just want to use that. You will need 5, and I count them 5 dragon jewels. You will need 2 critical jewels. Sorry, my bad. You'll need 2 critical jewels. You'll need 3 tenderizer jewels. Sorry, we're not using Valstrax arms. We're actually using Legambi braces because we need that level 1 slot for grinders. You'll need 3 grinders. No, wait, do we get up to 3 grinders on this? What is no? We actually have 2 grinder jewels. We don't get up to speed sharpening level 3 because we lack a level 1 slot. I know it completely blows, but we do make it up for critical eye level 7, attack boost level 5, dragon attack level 5, crit boost level 3, weakness exploit level 3, and quick sheath level 3 with a level 1 maximum might to make up for it. And for our talisman, we do use our level 2 quick sheath with a level 2 slots. So obviously, if you don't have this, your best option would be to take off an attack jewel in the Anjanath coil and just replace it with the last level of Tenderizer, and just get a quick sheath level 2 with a 2 slot. Obviously, Demon Petulance. And one thing that I do want to say is that don't use Sakura Slash. Don't use Silkbite and Sakura Slash. You will get lower damage values than using your standard Spirit Helmbreaker. So please always use your Spirit Helmbreaker no matter what. And for you using either Spirit Reckoning combo or Spirit Slash combo, yes, Spirit Reckoning combo does more damage in faster time, but if you don't feel comfortable in using that and you feel like you whiff a lot, then feel free to use your standard Spirit Round Slash combo. I would like to add that as a little disclaimer, but as long as you have Spirit Helmbreaker, you should be good. Anyways, that is our first elemental longsword build. Moving on to our next build will be oh, here it is. The Fire Longsword build. Now, there are 2 good Fire Longsword builds, but honestly, this is going to be your general use one. Feel free if you want to get the Kimura Inheritance, because that actually will be very good for anti-aquatic and anti-aerial species. This one is going to be your in general use, and this is the Wyvern Blade Maple, which is Rathalos' Longsword. You have a whopping 36 fire, 210 attack, but you don't get any slots, and it is in blue sharpness. Now, you might be wondering, but wait, Alex, Kimura's Inheritance gets white sharpness. Why are we using this longsword? Because it has blue sharpness. We're losing out on damage. And no, sit down, because this is where the Rampage slot comes in. You see this beautiful Rampage skill called Elemental Exploit that's either on Rathalos weapons and or Alamudron weapons. Well, this right here is going to make your damage go way past what white sharpness and no elemental exploit will go past. It's crazy how much of a damage boost elemental exploit does give it. And for our build, we got the Kaiser Crown, we got the Barioth Mail S, Kaiser Van Braces, Anjanath Coil S, Ingot Greaves S, Demon Petulance 3, and the Fatal Tempest Talisman. And we also get do we get 100%? Nope, we don't get 100%, but we do get 90% affinity, and we all... Wait, do we get 90% affinity? Or do we get 100? No, we did get 100. We also get 100% affinity on the Dragon Longsword. I forgot to say. But here we are using the Kaiser Crown, Barioth Mail S, Kaiser Van Braces, Anjanath Coil S, and Inga Greaves S again. So, just giving you a little reminder. And the reason why we're using Kaiser Van Braces is because we're using that level 1 Teostra boost to increase our fire damage. And Teostra's Van Braces come with a level 1 crit eye and level 1 crit boost, which also helps us with the build. The only downside to this build is the lack of 1 slots for speed sharpening. So our speed sharpening is on level 1, which is so crappy, but it is what it is. Anyways, you need 5 blaze jewels. You need 1 expert jewel to get up to max crit eye. You need 1 critical jewel, 1 tenderizer jewel, or actually no, 3 tenderizer jewels, and we are using our quick sheath level 2 and weakness exploit level 2. Or not weakness exploit level 2, but we're using our quick sheath level 2 with our level 2 slot talisman. If you don't have that, again, quick sheath level 2 with a level 1 with a level 1, or not level 1, but level 2 slot, and all you have to do is just trade out this level this expert jewel for like a last level of tenderizer. That's all you really need to do. But yeah, right here, this is it. Sadly, we won't have any slottage for protective polish. We just lacked the necessary 2 slots, and honestly, getting maxed out critical eye is going to be better. But we also have a decent amount of hits in blue, so it shouldn't really be that big of a deal. But if it is, then just trade out this expert jewel for a level 1 protective polish, and you should be good to go. And then moving on to our ice longsword. For our ice longsword, we have Daora's Raid, which is Kushala Daora's longsword. We have the Kaiser Crown, the Kaiser Crown helmet, the Vikemail S chest, the Lagambi Van Braces, Crow Metal Coil waist, and Golden Hakama legs. Obviously, using Demon Petulance 3 and the Fatal Tempest Talisman is a quick sheath level 3 with actually all you need is a level 2 slot. I probably did not update this. Damn. I didn't update this, didn't I? Well, you can use that, but if you do want to maximize your build, then please, if you do have a quick sheath level 2 with 2 level 2 slots, then all you have to do is just come down here and then slot in 1 of these for, if I can actually find it, slot 1 of these for your sheath, and then your last one will be, depending on how much affinity we have, we are going to get up to 30. So we're going to actually have 100% affinity due to our lovely ramp up skill, Kushala Daora Soul, which I'll explain more in a minute, but you just put in a sharp jewel, and then you'll have maxed protective polish. Obviously, if you don't have this, just put in a quick sheath level 2 with a level 2 slot so you can get max quick sheath. And yes, now continuing on to the explanation of the ice longsword. you are going to need a total of 4 frost jewels, because you're going to get level 5 from Lagombi Van Braces S. You also need 3 tenderizers. We are going to need 3 tenderizer jewels. We are also going to need 3 grinder jewels. And for this build, you also are going to need 1 sheath jewel and 3. And for me, since I have the correct talisman, I can afford to use 3 sharp jewels. If you don't have the correct talisman, you're going to use 2 sharp jewels. And what you're going to get is level 5 crit eye, level 5 ice attack, level 3 crit boost, level 3 weakness exploit, level 3 protective polish, and level 3 quick sheath with level 3 speed sharpening. Now, as you see, we have an absurd 58 ice element, and we also have 225 attack. We also have 25% base affinity from this build, which will go up to 55% affinity, since Kushala de Orasol gives us chain crit and will give us 30% increase in our affinity when we continuously attack the monsters. So combine that with weakness exploit, you get 100% affinity with this build, and yeah, that's about it. This build claps. It slaps and claps Diablos like all day, every day. It's completely insane. Then for our last elemental longsword build, it is our water longsword build, which is the Azure Star Dragon Dance. This here is going to be the longsword, the best longsword for water, and you will need 3 sharp jewels, 5 stream jewels. Do we need 5 stream? Yeah, I believe we need 5. Oh yeah. I forgot to change this. You actually need 5 stream jewels. So sorry, so terribly sorry. I misinformed you guys. You need 5 stream jewels. You need 2 sharp jewels. You need 3 grinder jewels. And you need 1 tenderizer jewels and 2 attack jewel 2s. And I am using the quick sheath level 2 quick sheath level 2 talisman with 2 levels, or 2 level 2 slots. And if you don't have that, then I think the best way to do this is either drop a level of sharp, which I actually feel like that's the only thing you need to do, because this build is pretty much centered around this specific talisman. So you might not have much of effect as you probably would like without this talisman, but to cut corners, you're probably going to have to drop a sharp jewel if you don't have the talisman. I'm sorry, there's no other way. But for our ramp up slot, we got water boost level 4, giving us like 10 extra water 10 extra hits in water element. So it comes out to 47, but when we check our status, we have a whopping 60 water. 60 water element. This is crazy. Like absolute asinine. It's bonkers. And we got 55% affinity thanks to maximum 1 level of maximum might, meaning that we will have maxed out affinity. So we'll have 100% affinity. We'll have 5% overcap, but we'll still have maxed out. Now that is it for the best water longsword. You still have white sharpness. It's going to clap. Like the water longsword is definitely one of those longswords that you want to get in your possession. This and Daora's Raid, definitely 2 of the best. Dragon Longsword and Fire Longsword, it's kind of they're good respectively, but free to also get them, but I would say get them last. But if you guys noticed, there is no Thunder Longsword. Why? Because all the Thunder Longswords suck. Why? Because they don't give you enough Thunder element. So, sucks to suck for my boy Zinogre. Sucks to suck for my boy Rajang. But y'all longswords ain't doing. Y'all longswords ain't. Y'all ain't doing it. You guys are not passing inspection. But moving down to our element longswords here is the Rampage blade. For all of our status longswords, we are using the Rampage Blade S for the Paralysis and Sleep. I will only go over this build one time to save you guys time. So we are using the Rampage Blade S for our Paralysis. We have it ramped up for Sharpness Type 1, Paralysis 1, and Affinity Surge. And we got 20% Affinity on this. For the Kaiser Crown, we got Steadfast Jewel 1. We got 1 level of Handicraft 3 just to get us white sharpness. We're also going to need 2 critical 2 jewels, and we are also going to need 3 grinder jewels, 1 quick sheath jewel, and 1 tenderizer jewel. Now, obviously we use our very rare quick sheath jewel, or quick sheath talisman, so we slot in 2 sharp jewels. Obviously, if you can't fit it, then just please drop 1 level of the sharp jewel. This is another one of those builds that is going to be very imperative of getting this talisman. So, best wishes in getting it, but it is what it is. And the reason why we don't use any paralysis attack is because you're only really going to get 1 paralyzed. This build is going to be good for newer people in longsword, like getting into longswords, because you're going to get like that 1 stun. So obviously, if you want to mess around with status longswords, this is a good one. And all you have to do is just, if you want a sleep longsword, use the same build and just change out the longsword to a sleep variant of the Rampage longsword as shown here. Ramp it up the same. Also, make sure before you max out the Rampage longswords, be sure to get sleep level 1. Do not go for sleep level 2. The reason why you don't want to get sleep level 2 is because it takes away 10 raw to only give you +2 to ailment, and that is not worth it. So just be sure before you max it out all the way, get sleep level 1. So you can have 10 hits of sleep and not lose out on any raw. Again, the sleep longsword build is actually going to be really good to train you to do the bomb wake up properly. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, is when you go into serene pose before the barrel bomb will blow up, so you can get maximum amount of damage within red spirit gauge level. So just be mindful. This is pretty much why this longsword will be used, and just try to use this for practice on it. Now, for the next 2 longswords, I do recommend bringing this in the rampages. It will help you get those status effects or those status challenges done super fast, just insanely fast. And the first one up is the Poison Longsword. Now, for the Poison Longsword, we are using the Big Menacing Scythe. The Big Menacing Scythe, and this is one of my favorite longsword designs in this game because it makes you look like the Grim Reaper having it. Sadly, the Rampage slots suck on this. It sucks with a capital S-U-C-K. So we're ramping this up for Attack Boost 1. The reason why we don't ramp this up for Poison Boost 2 is because, like, really not that worth it to get extra hits of poison. So we just try to get our raw as high as we can. You get 34 hits of poison. We will be getting white sharpness with this build, and sadly we get 10% affinity, which we will circumvent that with the Kaiser Crown, which will give us actually 3 levels of affinity. Here we will have 3 grinder jewels. We'll have 3 tenderizer jewels. Sorry, we'll have 3 tenderizer jewels, 3 grinder jewels, 1 handicraft jewel so we can get to white sharpness. We'll have 3 venom jewels, and we will use our rare quick sheath deco and slot in 2 protective polishes. Obviously if you don't have this, then just lower it down to 1 protective polish on it. Just level it down to 1 protective polish. And yeah, anyways, for our build we have Kaiser Crown, helmet, Barioth mail, chest, sinister gauntlet, so Magnum Mallow arms. And the reason why we use Magnum Mallow arms is for level 2 handicraft, because it needs level 3 handicraft just to get white sharpness. We use chrome metal coil, and we use golden hakama just to round us to max critical boost. So good build, great build, is going to help you a lot in your rampage challenges for your statuses. So if you like poisoning people, and also if you like fighting Kushala a lot and inflicting poison to Kushala, then this is going to be the longsword for you. And then last but not least, which is going to be my favorite longsword for using the rampages, because it's going to give you more attack, and it's going to also just rack up blast damage a lot to help you out with it, is going to be our Magnum Mallow's Sinister Shade Sword. It's Magnum Mallow's longsword. You know it, you love it from the demo. It's back and we made a build with it. Some people like using Teosha's longsword, but the problem with using Teosha's longsword is that even though you do get more blast damage, you do lose out a significant amount of raw attack, and this is going to give you the best of both worlds, since all you really need is to get about 10 status procs, hopefully. We have ramped this for attack boost 3. You can ramp this for blast boost 2 if you want more blast attack, but I went with attack boost 3. You get 23 hits of blast, you get white sharpness with this build, and about 208 base attack minus like attacking skills at the end of this showcase. And then what you need for this build is 2 levels of sharp jewels. You need 3 grinder jewels. You need 1 tenderizer jewels. You need 2 steadfast jewels. And you need 2 critical jewels, and actually by tenderizer jewels you need 3 tenderizer jewels. Sorry. The reason why is because we're using our rare quick sheath talisman. Again, if you don't have it, I know I keep on repeating myself of, oh, again, if you don't have it. So if you don't have it, again, just drop the sharp jewel too. I just realized that I just made that really redundant, and I caught myself. I'm sorry. But that is going to be it for our best longsword builds. I have shown you the best longsword builds in general use, the best element longsword builds, and the best ailment longsword builds. I hope you make all of these longswords and enjoy them, and be sure to check out my future build videos. Check out my previous build videos. Leave me a follow, leave me a like, share the video, all that good stuff. Check me out on twitch.tv/animealx, where I will be streaming Pokemon Unite and Monster Hunter Rise, and it's all fun and love over there, so check it out. And with all that being said, peace out all my fellow weebs and weebettes, and